Hi, player housing is already booming, with more and more creatives boarding the ship, and it's so great to see. While I'm by no means the captain of that ship, I wanted to make a video to help other emerging housing creators out there with some general advice. These are primarily aimed at people who'd like to make their own housing channels, however others may find benefit in these tips as well. What's your goal and angle? Be honest with yourself. What draws you to housing? Is it to share your creative journey with others? Connect with your audience in a new way? Having an hour to yourself after work? Share news while they are hot? Or focus more on evergreen knowledge? This can greatly impact your long-term enjoyment with housing. In my own case, I knew I'd spent tons of hours on housing even without this channel, because it's exactly what I did on FF14. I was never a big or well-known creator in the housing scene there. I'd just build new things over and over again. Sometimes my creations would be used by role players for community events or photo shoots, which felt really rewarding. It felt a bit bad though when I'd take my builds down. They were no longer of use, and that's one big motivator of doing this channel. By archiving my builds here, they may still be useful or inspire others long after I take them down. And the second reason is that when I got into housing on FF14, I really appreciated the more experienced housing creatives sharing their tips and guides. So I thought, by combining my experience with housing, visual art, storytelling and video editing, I could in turn help some other people in my favorite game and get people just as excited about housing as I am. That's why I often don't just show how to do things, but share a bit of my thought process or the reasoning behind the steps. It's wonderful there are creators and people interested in different aspects of housing. It would be boring if everybody was the same, so think of the angle you want to take with your channel. What's your main platform? There's brilliant housing enthusiasts emerging on many social media platforms, and each has different algorithms and preferences for media consumption. Take a moment to study the best practices of your chosen platforms, from using hashtags to the descriptions to how users tend to discover new people there. Using myself as an example again, I focus on YouTube videos because it lets me be more in-depth with my content, but when making shorts, I can repurpose those for some other platforms as well. Watermarks. People share and repost images and videos all the time without credit, so watermarking your showcase images or videos will make it easier to track them back to your accounts. I know it might feel pretentious at first. For me, it may become naturally since I have a visual artist background. When it comes to drawings and illustrations, it's common to add a signature to your creative works. And you can spend a lot of time and creativity in your housing projects, so don't be shy to watermark them. Yet despite watermarking, I've unfortunately had already some instances of people cropping and reposting my footage for things I don't approve, such as advertising paid housing services. Just so you know, I don't offer paid in-game housing services. Nonetheless, watermarking your creations will help associating you as the original creator of the footage. Recording video footage. OBS Studio is free and open source software for recording footage, and more than enough to get the job done. Now, how you wish to record footage depends on how you'd like to present your work. In the least, I'd recommend taking a few different types of footage, such as showing much of the space at once and some close-ups of interesting details or custom props. The way I like to approach this is that I'm not just recording housing items, but trying to sell the fantasy or mood of the chosen theme or concept. For smooth camera rotations around your character, you could use Save Viewpoint and Set Viewpoint key bindings, but you could also use the new WoW camera tools add-on by Mr. GM. It makes it a button click away to rotate your camera left and right, up and down, zoom in and out, and even hide your character. Lastly, if possible, record in 4K resolution, even if you worked on a smaller canvas in your video editing software. This way, you have more freedom to play with the footage composition and scale it in post, or use it for camera slides in the editing phase. Video thumbnails and covers. If you share videos of your house, use a cover image that displays what you intend to show people. I advise not using generative AI in your thumbnails. People want to see a glimpse of what you can actually create, not what you can prompt. Many enjoy player housing because of the human touch. Every item placed is a decision by the player. Colorful thumbnails usually catch more attention, and do check that the image and any text read well at a glance in small size as well. Think of also the vibe the images and fonts give of your channel. Is it friendly or serious, epic or funny? How does it stand out or make people immediately connected to you? Giving credit where credit is due. 2 or more people may come up with similar ideas, and we all bounce ideas off of each other or are inspired by things we see. However, if you intentionally copy someone else's design, it's good practice to give credit where credit is due. This concerns usually complex designs that are combined from many different items put together to create something new. I'm talking of situations where you put pictures of the build side by side and one is clearly referencing the other, not just taking some inspiration. Intentionally cloning other people's intricate designs or tutorials and trying to pass them off as your own will give you a bad reputation among player housing communities, so please don't do that. Interacting with other creators. Housing is at its best when it connects people in good spirit, and I love seeing what everybody else comes up with. Consider supporting other creators and treat them with respect rather than view them as competition in your niche. We're all going to have a lot better time that way, and sometimes a bit of encouragement can mean the world to someone starting out. For instance, there have been people asking me to make tutorial for spiral staircases, but knowing there's already a good number of people who have made these, rather than just copy their guides, I prefer pointing them out to the ones asking. This way you can both support and help people in the same go. Audio quality. If you'd like to make videos with spoken commentary, investing in a decent mic is really worth it, and it's a good idea to look into how to do simple audio editing too. It will make your videos much easier on the ears if you can remove some clicks and pops, and I say this as someone who is still figuring that part out. For me, doing audio recordings is a bit of a pain point since English is not my first language and I really have to pay attention to articulation, pronunciation and speaking technique with the mic. I'm still at a point where, to be honest, I will cringe doing them, but the only way to improve is just to keep doing it. However, doing videos without sharing your lovely voice is not going to stop people from enjoying them. There's lots of housing videos taking off with just visuals or written commentary, and some people even prefer these, so it largely depends on how you wish to present your ideas. But if you speed up your building videos, please don't use the sped up in-game audio, as it can be a bit uneasy on the ears. Mute that footage and add some WoW or copyright-free music in the background instead, for example. But be careful that the music won't drown out your voice if you speak on top of it. Usually it's good to have the music pretty quiet in the background when you're talking. It may also be good to listen to your video on PC, phone and TV first before making your video public to check the audio levels of the music or narration. I hope this advice helps other housing enthusiasts getting started, and if you have any tips of your own, please feel free to add them in the comments. I've also added some wonderful builders and people who cover player housing in the description below. Please go check them out. Have fun building, and I'll see you in the neighborhood.